Hello, beautiful people. I just thought I'd jump in live to try and go over some quite interesting psychological reframes that have helped me a lot in the last year. And yeah, I don't know how many I'll do. We'll see how it goes. We'll see if anyone likes it, anyone's interested, or if I'm just a crazy guy screaming to the void. And so be it. Number one, you are the master of your reality, which is an interesting one to unpack. And it's something that has helped and hindered me in various ways. It's taught me a lot, that phrase, that concept. You. What is you? You know, is it the you sitting there? Psychologically, we know that there's multiple yous. Even within your own brain and body, you know, there's a conscious you, and then there's the unconscious you, the one that runs your bodily processes, your breathing, your heart pumping. You know, you don't control all of this, but there's a you that does. There's a you that controls your deepest desires, your oppressions. Spiritually, there's a concept of a higher you, which I think is actually very similar to your subconscious mind, this sense that there is a you that controls you in a way that you need and not in the way that you want. Because consciously we want so much, you know, your ego is like an insatiable dog that will always find things to latch onto, things it wants, things it thinks it needs. But there's a you that's controlling this journey of your life in a way that's actually most beneficial for you. The same way that parents and teenagers can have a tricky relationship because the parent is trying to teach the child certain things that they've learned when they were younger, but the teenager is so wrapped up in the emotion, the drama, all the different needs and desires, you know, the need to fit into a group, to have friends, to hang out, to be liked. The parent knows that there's much more important things in that child's life. But there's that clash between this higher awareness and your current awareness. There's a thought experiment that I really like, which is, imagine you're at the end of your life. Let's say you're 120, you know, medicine's advanced, we've maxed out how long humans can live so healthily. Like that dude, the Brad, whatever his name, that's wanting to turn his body into a 16-year-old's body, like in de-age. You've done this, you've lived a long life, you're happy, and now you're on your way out, your body's falling apart. And as your life flashes before your eyes, you run through all your memories in your life, all the experiences, all the things that they taught you, all the things you became, all the things that made you the person you became. The white light begins to come, and then a figure appears, and it says, hello. You now have the ability to write your life because you're going to live it again. I don't know if anyone watched that show. What was the show on TV with all those people that had superpowers? If you remember, put it in the comments. It was a British show, and all these, there was a storm and everyone got superpowers, and it was like super speed, time travel. Yeah, if it comes back to me, I'll mention it. But the point is that in that show, there was an episode where a loved one died, and then that person had to go back in time to save them, and then realized they would live this eternal loop of saving them, falling in love, going through the journey, losing them, going back, saving them, because that's how time travel works. So in this thought experiment, you are given the opportunity to go back and relive your life again, and you get to write the script. But this is you after 120 years of living your life's experience. So what script do you write? Do you write a script where you're born with a silver spoon, you're in a mansion, you've got everything that you ever desired from the day that you're born, everything's so easy. You don't need to learn, you don't need to grow, you just have to live in the luxury of your soft life. You could do that. We've got celebrities that have lived that life. And then they go on, they end up in rehab. The same questions that you're asking yourself comes to them. Why me? Why this? Why now? What do I do? And they're not happy with that life because they're only given that life because they need to be forced into a position to learn a different way of being. You've only been given your life so that you can be forced into a position to learn a different way of being. And so, like a video game where we kind of conceptually all understand that each level of the game has to be harder in order for you to be good enough by the end to defeat the boss. Each level of your life challenges you to a new level of growth. And we're just dramatic beings. With each level, we're going to be like, oh, I can't do this. I can't see any way past this. I can't overcome it. But how many times have you said it? How many mountains in your past have you said, oh, I can't get over this? You look back, you're like, oh yeah, that was a weird phase. It was quite intense, but here I am now. Fresh, young, smarter. I've learned so much more. I wouldn't do that shit again. There's a mountain in front of you now, and it seems insurmountable because you're living in the present moment. And to you, it's insurmountable. Is it going to be insurmountable to you in 6 months' time, 12 months, 5 years? When you're in your deathbed, you wouldn't even think about what you're going through right now because you understand that you already became the person you needed to do to get through it. And so like that horrible experiment where there's a rat in a metal cup that they put against the prisoner's skin, set fire, put it near the metal cup, and the heat forces the rat to find the easiest route of escape, which is through the flesh. You're being trapped into a corner to find the easiest route of escape, or the route of escape that forces you to become the person you need to become. And it's hard, it's a lot of pressure, it's not easy, but there's a way to ground and there's a way to flow into it. And I think this thought experiment helps. Thinking that you've created this for yourself changes the quality of your question. So now it's not, why me? Why this? Why now? What do I do? It's, oh, well, if I create this for myself, why would I do that? Why me? And why now? And why this? Instead of what do I do, the question is now, what do I need to learn from this? What am I supposed to become to get through this? And when you face life like that, like a difficult challenge of a game, and yes, you might need to try it and try it and try it again and respawn, but knowing that by the time you get it, by the time you get through it, by the time you learn what you need to learn, my God, you will have become just a much more powerful version of yourself, much rawer, much stronger, much more beautiful, much more radiant. And then the next mountain comes, and that's fine. So a big thing that we can do is to remember that they're all mountains and there's valleys. And the mountains help you appreciate the valleys more when you just enjoying that dip, that slowness, winter. You are the master of your reality, the master. In Osho's talk, The Zen Manifesto, Freedom from Oneself, it says, the master's function in Zen is to force nothingness into your experience. Or in other words, to bring you to your own nothingness. The master devises methods, and when they become old and routine, the master drops them, finds new methods, new ways. We'll always fall back into our bullshit patterns. So life has to get a bit more exciting. It has to give us new challenges so that we don't stagnate, new problems. And sometimes it seems like we're stuck in the same problem for a long period of time, but that's just a story we tell ourselves. The problem might have a similar quality, but you have come out of it before. You've done this before. You've come out of it in some way. And now you're in another thing like it. And of course it's harder because you're on a new level. If you pay too much attention to the things that are disappearing, you may stop out of fear. The master goes on focusing your mind on things that are happening, not on things that are disappearing. The master goes on forcing you to look at the blissfulness. Look at the peace. Look at the silence that's descending upon you. Look at the joy. Look at the ecstasy. Where are the moments in your life that you still find those moments of peace, moments of joy? Stay in that and really resonate. Allow that energy to permeate through your own being so that you can take it through the difficult times, through the stressful times, and allow those moments of peace to grow. The master is continuously emphasizing that which is happening, not that which is going away. The anxiety, the despair, the angst, the anguish. The master is not allowing you to even take note of them. What's disappearing is not worth keeping. You just go on looking at what is appearing out of the nothingness. So you gather courage, you become more daring, you know that nothing is going to be wrong. With every single inch of movement, something greater is happening. And finally, as it disperses, the light on the other side comes through. I just had to sell my car like an hour ago to balance out financial difficulties. There's a lot of things I've lost recently. A lot of instability, a lot of ungroundedness, moving around a lot to different cities. There's times when I still fall into that pattern of focusing on the things that are going, things that are lost, things that are disappearing. But what opportunities have come out of it instead? You know? What can I do now that I don't have that financial burden? What can I allow this value of time now that I've brought back to rejuvenate myself with? How can I use that time so efficiently to be of service to the world, to be of service to myself, to do things that I enjoy, things that I'm passionate about? The master goes on focusing on what's appearing out of the darkness, out of the nothingness. If you focus so much on the darkness, you'll miss the things that you need to see to allow you to get to the next level. If you're playing a video game and you're stuck at a level, do you keep trying the same thing you tried 50 other times? No. You try something new. Because the same mind that creates the problem is not going to be the same mind that changes it. If you want a different life, you have to do different things. You have to become a different person, the type of person that resonates with that type of life. And we can get addicted to things that we say we hate consciously. The despair, the drama, the story of just living in this state of poverty, of being sorry for ourselves. And of course, there's difficulty in it. It's not as easy as, you change your mind and suddenly you're different. But a shift in perspective goes a long way. And if you keep allowing yourself to see the opportunities and all your failures, you'll eventually, statistically, you'll find the way out. We're not that different to rats. We're very predictable as human beings. And we're even more predictable to ourselves. That's why we have to keep creating new challenges for ourselves subconsciously, putting ourselves into tight spots, observing what we do to come out of it, see the same thing again and again. And if we do, you get the lesson again, you get the same mountain until you overcome it. And we always can overcome it. What you focus on, you can grow, you know. A really powerful metaphor that I'm going to end with is something that has really helped me a lot. Particularly, under the state of hypnosis, metaphors can be extremely powerful. It colors your life with a different shade. That of a farmer. A farmer waits for the time when the earth's in the right cycle, the right weather comes, and they plant the crops. They till the ground, they work the ground, they do the hard work. And then they watch in patience. And for a long time, it looks like nothing's happening. But under the soil, in that dark, high pressure, no way out, horrible stifling environment, the seeds are sprouting, things are growing, things are moving, things are active. You can't see it, but you've done the work. And then you trust, because you've done what felt aligned. And if you don't know what the action is, then there's work you can do to figure out what the action is that gets you in line with your purpose. But you watch. Then over time, when you trust, the crops then grow above the ground. When the weather aligns, when the season aligns, when the time is right, when the roots have really reached rich enough soil that they can sprout. And then you're ready for the harvest. But if you get so frustrated that you're like, oh, I can't see, nothing's happening, you dig up the seeds again, you just keep messing up the ground, then you'll never allow yourself to truly grow. So there's a balance there between doing the right things and being patient. And you're the master of your reality. Maybe not you that's so full of despair now, but there's a you in there that knows. A you in there that really does have the deeper answers. And this is one of the useful things about meditation, is it allows you to quiet that nonsense, all these thoughts that just fucking run in and out of our heads for no reason. You silence that enough. You're not trying to turn the volume down to zero. You're simply removing yourself from being part of the process of thinking. And then thoughts might come, and then they go, but you just observe. You don't try and force yourself to be silent. You don't try and push them away. Just observe what comes in and out. And then you can start to really notice what kinds of things you think about, how useful they are for you. And if you're really meditating on a problem, in that state of silence, the right answers can come. You've created enough of a gap to let what's really valuable rush in. You are the master of your reality. Right, I think that's it for number one. Let me know what you think if you're interested in hearing more. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope that whatever problem that you have today, whatever thing that's really you've been, wall that you've really been hitting against, sit in silence and meditate on it. And imagine that it is the perfect thing that you need to happen to you right now. You're exactly where you need to be. The things that are happening are exactly what needs to happen. If that was a reality, let's use a conditional, if you've got a critical mind. If that were the case, why would that need to happen to you? What is it you need to learn from it? What patterns of behavior have you been stuck in the past when you've hit this problem that you need to change now to get to the next level? And we'll keep going to the next level until we get to the final one. Good day. I'm not entirely sure how to turn this live off. Let's try this.